Well, unfortunately, this is another episode of Losecast. I believe this is episode 4 or 5, and it is coming from probably the same place as 2 of the previous episodes came from too, but made the long journey downtown, and we just got swept. We got I wouldn't say I was about to say the word annihilated, but that's not accurate because the team that beat us was not even that good. I just think we underperformed so much that it made them seem so great. And I'm very realistic with what our strengths and weaknesses are and what our limitations are. And then to put on top of that, we are missing two of our starters tonight with both rolled ankles in the last week. And I mean, the one that's an attacker was just providing so much stability on just being able to hit it over. And that's no shade to the girls that replaced her, but it was clearly a different component to how we did. And you know, the rest of our pins, and I mean pretty much everybody shared in like struggling to attack the ball, and it seemed like everything the other team did was they were just doing it. It seemed like they blocked every ball of ours. I touched almost every ball, and every tip they threw fell, and every volleyball play, them serving it into the tape and getting the trickle and getting the ace, and you know, smashing it off the net past a blocker and dropping in. All these things, all the volleyball gods were not shining on us very much. And maybe maybe the volleyball gods don't ever do it evenly. Maybe it's just one team or the other team. But yeah, I think we went 16, 10, and 13. And if you don't follow volleyball or you're unfamiliar with, those are blowouts. Like, even 16 is a blowout. You know, if you keep your opponent under 20, because the game goes to 25 and you have to win by 2, keep your opponent under 20, and that's a pretty handedly win. But if you put a 10 point spread between them, or 15, that's just it's a pretty good ass whipping. But it wasn't, I mean, we were just spotting them so many points, just like, I don't know, service errors, passing errors, mostly hitting errors, I felt. Or we just couldn't detonate, and we'd send over a fairly easy ball for them to handle. They'd dig in transition and put it away. And we couldn't block any balls, and we just had new people out there playing too. But those post-ass whooping matches never get easier to talk to your players with. And as I was leaving, and I'm thinking, well, if we lost in 5, it'd obviously be an easier talk because you would have some set wins to point to. Obviously, we would have had to do something right, like consistently, to win a couple sets, and you could say we fought, but it was hard to find something reassuring to say. And thank God there's a couple great coaches around me that also helped. But yeah, I went first tonight talking to them, and usually if I go first, that's like not a good thing. That means that our head coach like is completely at a loss for words. And I think the most frustrating part is like she was a very successful and competitive volleyball player, and then she went and played in college also, and I think just had a lot of success throughout her playing career, and then her coaching career has been successful too. And I think this is one of the more difficult teams to meet halfway, because I don't think she feels, and I would agree, I don't feel the competitive fire and drive oozing out of a lot of them, or all of them at one. There's been a few times, you know, when we've been playing really good and our personnel is 100% and we're matching the competitiveness of other teams, but it's been lackluster this last week once our two kids went down and they haven't played the last two matches. And I mean, it would be a big uplifting situation, and they're both captains too, for them to like look past their injuries and be super supportive and be super loud. But I hope they did do it in their own way, and I just didn't see it. But and also, I get it. They're teenagers. It's so hard to understand how to do all of that like right away. I'm not even good at it. I'm 2 times their age. So yeah, it was their senior night too. So there was a lot of, I mean, good match for them to take a rival down and have it be senior night and probably get everybody in. And you know, 10 years ago I would have been such a like asshole of a coach, like, and tried to like I don't even know what I'm saying, but like that school, the rival school, any other opponent, they do nothing wrong by picking on the new kids or tipping in a direction of someone that like has a sore ankle or clearly can't move. You know, it's a smart tactic or strategy. You pick on the weakest link, dude. If something's exposing itself, you don't expect like a coach to have these high morals and serve your best kid and go easy on you. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but there was times during it, and I'll be honest, I did not like have the fire or the drive, and I don't think I screamed my head off as much as I could. I got more like I was thinking too much. I was trying to figure out a lineup we could adjust and how we could adjust our attack, and like I think I just spent too much time trying to like figure it out instead of just be a supportive, loud, yelly coach, which that's pretty much my bread and butter, and try and generate some sort of momentum that way. And I don't know. I had a feeling it was going to be a big ask today. And we, you know, 2 of our starters were out. We tried to have one of our starters go, but she was clearly working on like barely being able to put any like weight on, and she was obviously upset when she got taken out after the first set. But it was the right move. The girl that went in after her, she played okay. She picked up a few more balls that I don't think that other girl could have. And then we had We had a new kid who doesn't typically attack play the outside position, and that meant she had to pass 6 rotations, which she hasn't done pretty much all season. And then we made that move mid-match last night and kind of able to get away with it, but tonight's team was more well-rounded, and they were, I'd say, a better serving team too. And you're so one-dimensional when we can't pass well, and I think our setter struggled to send it to everybody because she wasn't seeing a lot of success from a lot of people. So she went with our most consistent attacker, who also was struggling to put the ball in. So just couldn't find any stability offensively anywhere. And if we're not going to block any balls, we have to be able to earn almost all of our points off serving tough and being able to transition and put balls down. We could not do that, hence scoring 10 points. I feel like we started every set really good, though. I feel like we got to 6-6 or 7. I think we were at 8-8 in the third. Then we would just have the other team would go on a serving run, which just kind of, I don't know. There's really no clear-cut offensive leader on our team that makes it apparently known that they are that cock of the walk. I definitely think our setter leads by example, and she's the best player on our team. If we had another person that understood the setting position and could do that, we could make her an outside, but literally don't have another setter. And we had to train who we thought would be the backup setter to be outside, and she's also not as experienced, and we're just at a loss for experience and just offensive potency, really. And I'll always think offensively first. I always think as a setter, and to me, this team needs to be spread. We need to utilize all our unorthodox attackers a little bit more evenly, just so we can send different looks at the other team. And we're not very tall as a group either, and so I think that's even more of a reason not to ride someone too much, unless pass dictates it too. But it seemed hard for our setter to go back to people after they made errors. It's tough. We definitely didn't close no blocks. We didn't really press any. And we definitely just, there's obviously a lack of understanding of our defensive scheme, or we just don't have one. We've just been getting by. And all this to say, we've been a pretty solid program in Southern California. I consider us Southern California because we're not NorCal, but we're kind of more central. But I'm not saying we're near Huntington Beach or near Manhattan or Orange County or LA. We're past that, but we have a strong culture of beach and indoor volleyball in this town, and we have Olympians from all 3 high schools. The Michael Jordan of volleyball is from the school that creamed us tonight. And so, I mean, I'm nitpicking and it sounds pretty negative, but if you came in and watched us for how small and, I mean, relatively unathletic, we're still a good volleyball team. And I'd say this is a down year for just the overall talent pool and athleticism in town, but it's still good volleyball, and so I'm glad I'm a part of this culture, and that I know where it should be. I think that's what I'm trying to say is, like, I came in, let's see, on the girls' side, like 14 years ago, and that was some of the tippy top of the girls' side. So I've seen what it could be, and I know that's dependent on talent also, and the bodies, but we can keep holding them to a high standard to get back to that level. And so it's hard for me to just kind of like laugh off or shake off or just tell them it's okay that shit happens, when I know it does, but also like there has to be some, for me there's got to be some, like there has to be some follow through, like so like some of them know, and then maybe they care more, and so that doesn't happen, and we can trickle it up, trickle down. It happens. Not my first, not my last. But God, if that doesn't put the like fire back in me to get them better and build everything back up till we're back at a place where we're bouncing teams and creaming teams. It goes in waves.